By 1930, Carter G. Woodson was 55 years old and had been fighting for Black history for over 25 years. His hair was completely white. His hands trembled from decades of overwork. He walked with a cane, his body worn down by years of poverty, stress, and relentless labor. But he couldn't stop. Negro History Week was thriving. Over 1,000 schools now participated annually. The Journal of Negro History was in its 15th year. The Association for the Study of Negro Life and History had a small but dedicated staff. Yet Carter felt like he was racing against time. The last generation that had lived through slavery was dying. Every month, he received news of another elderly person he'd interviewed passing away. Their stories, their memories, were disappearing. He pushed himself harder. He traveled constantly despite his health, giving lectures, collecting oral histories, encouraging teachers. He wrote prolifically, articles, books, educational materials. He edited the journal, managed the association, coordinated Negro History Week, and still found time to mentor young Black scholars. His staff begged him to slow down. "Dr. Woodson, you're 75 years old." 55, he corrected irritably. "You look 75. Your health is failing. You need rest." "I'll rest when I'm dead. Right now, there's too much work." And there was. In 1933, Carter published what many considered his masterpiece, The Miseducation of the Negro. The book argued that the American education system was designed to make Black people feel inferior, to strip them of their heritage, to turn them into compliant workers rather than independent thinkers. The book was controversial, even among Black educators. Some felt it was too radical, too accusatory, but it resonated with thousands of Black Americans who recognized the truth in Carter's words. A young teacher wrote to him, "Dr. Woodson, your book explained everything I've felt but couldn't articulate. I was taught to be ashamed of being Black. The miseducation of the Negro showed me that shame was deliberately instilled. You freed my mind." But writing the book took a toll. Carter worked 16-hour days for months, neglecting his health completely. When he finally finished, he collapsed. His doctor was furious. "Dr. Woodson, your heart is weak. Your blood pressure is dangerously high. If you keep working like this, you won't survive another year." "Then I'll make this year count," Carter said. His friends staged interventions. Marcus, now elderly himself, visited regularly to check on him. "Carter, you've accomplished more than any 10 men. You've created institutions that will outlast you. You've changed how America thinks about Black history. You can rest now." "No, I can't. Because the work isn't done. Black history still isn't taught in most schools. White historians still dismiss our scholarship. Black children still grow up not knowing their heritage. How can I rest when so much remains undone? You can't save everyone. You can't fix everything. I know, but I can try." In 1935, Carter faced a new challenge. The Great Depression had devastated everyone, but Black communities were hit hardest. Donations to the association dried up. Schools couldn't afford to participate in Negro History Week. The journal's subscription base collapsed. Carter used his own meager savings to keep everything running. He stopped taking a salary, something he could barely afford to do. He begged foundations for emergency funding. Most said no. A few gave token amounts. One evening, sitting in his office surrounded by unpaid bills, Carter felt despair creeping in. He'd fought for 30 years. He'd sacrificed everything, and it felt like it might all collapse because of money. Then a letter arrived from a washwoman in Alabama. Dr. Woodson, I heard the association's in trouble. I don't have much, but I'm sending $3. It's what I can spare this month. Your work saved my granddaughter's spirit. I can't let it die. Over the next weeks, similar letters arrived. Working people sending $1, $2, $5, amounts they couldn't spare, given by people who believed in the mission. Carter wept reading those letters. He dedicated his life to serving these people, and now they were saving his work. The association survived the Depression. Barely, but it survived. And Carter, against all medical predictions, survived too. Stubborn, relentless, driven by a vision he couldn't abandon. By 1940, Carter G. Woodson was 65 years old and more isolated than ever. Most of his old friends had died or moved away. Marcus had passed in 1938, leaving Carter without his closest confidant. He'd never married, never had children. His life had been consumed entirely by his work. He lived alone in a small apartment attached to his office. His daily routine was monotonous. Wake at 5 a.m., work until midnight, eat sparingly, sleep poorly, repeat. He had no hobbies, no social life, no activities beyond his mission. Young staff members worried about him. Dr. Woodson, don't you want to retire? Enjoy your remaining years? Enjoy them doing what? Playing checkers? Taking walks? My work is my life. Without it, I'm nothing. You're not nothing. You're a legend. You've earned rest. Legends are dead people. Carter said sharply, I'm still alive, which means I still have work to do. But the isolation weighed on him. He dedicated his entire life to Black history and had no personal life to show for it. No family to visit him. No grandchildren to carry his name. Just work. Endless work. One evening, a young Black graduate student named James Washington came to interview Carter for his dissertation. He found the elderly scholar hunched over his desk, surrounded by decades of accumulated research. Dr. Woodson, thank you for seeing me. Carter looked up, squinting through thick glasses. You're studying Black history? Yes, sir, because of you. I read your work in college and realized this was my calling. Carter felt a surge of emotion. This young man, pursuing Black history as a career, was what he'd fought for. Sit down. Tell me about your research. They talked for hours. James was researching Black labor unions in the 1930s. He had questions about methodology, about sources, about how to handle hostile white historians. Carter answered each question with the wisdom of 40 years of experience. And as he talked, he realized something. His legacy wasn't just in the institutions he'd built or the books he'd written. It was in the young scholars who'd been inspired by his work, who were continuing the fight. James, Carter said as the young man was leaving, promise me something. When I'm gone, and I won't live forever, promise me you'll keep doing this work. Black history needs people like you. I promise, Dr. Woodson, but you'll be here for many more years. Carter smiled sadly. I'm 65. My health is poor. I've outlived most people's expectations already. But what matters isn't how long I live. What matters is that the work continues after I'm gone. After James left, Carter sat alone in his office. The silence was oppressive. He thought about his life, the coal mines of his youth, the struggle for education, the decades of rejection and poverty, the relentless work. Had it been worth it? He'd never known romantic love, never had children, never enjoyed wealth or comfort. He'd sacrificed everything for Black history. But then he looked at the wall where he kept special letters. The one from Moses in Mississippi, from Henry in Montgomery, from the 15-year-old girl who'd regained her pride, from hundreds of teachers and students whose lives had been changed. Yes, it had been worth it. In 1945, World War II ended. Carter watched as black soldiers returned home, having fought for freedom abroad only to face discrimination at home. He wrote fiercely about the hypocrisy, the betrayal, but also saw something else. These returning soldiers were different. They'd seen the world. They'd fought and bled for America, and they weren't willing to accept second-class citizenship anymore. Carter knew something was coming. A movement, a reckoning. He wouldn't live to see it fully realized, but he could feel it building. And when it came, the young activists would need to know their history. They'd need to know they weren't the first to fight, that their ancestors had been fighting for centuries. That's why his work mattered. He was building the foundation for a future movement. One night, working alone as always, Carter felt a sharp pain in his chest. He gasped, clutching his desk. The pain passed after a few minutes, but he knew what it meant. His heart was giving out. He should call a doctor. He should rest. But instead, he picked up his pen and continued writing, because the work wasn't done. And as long as he was breathing, he would keep working. By 1948, Carter G. Woodson was 73 years old and clearly dying. His heart condition had worsened. He could barely walk. Some days he couldn't get out of bed, but his mind remained sharp, and his determination hadn't wavered. His staff practically ran the association now, but they consulted him on every major decision. Negro History Week had grown beyond anything Carter had imagined. Thousands of schools, churches, community organizations participated annually. The journal was stable, with a dedicated readership. But Carter worried. What would happen when he died? Would the association survive without him? Would Negro History Week continue? Would anyone remember why he started all this? He began deliberately preparing for his death. He organized his papers meticulously, labeling boxes. Correspondence 1900 to 1910. Research notes, Southern Journey, Negro History Week origins. He wrote letters to young black historians, encouraging them, offering advice, passing on hard-won wisdom. He met with his staff and gave them instructions. When I die, and I will die soon, you must continue this work. Don't let the association fold. Don't let Negro History Week die. Promise me. They promised, tears in their eyes. One afternoon, a young teacher brought her entire class to visit Carter. 20 black children, ages 8 to 12, excited and nervous to meet the legendary Dr. Woodson. Carter, despite his weakness, sat up straighter. These children were why he'd done everything. Children, he said, his voice thin but clear. Do you know your history? Yes, sir, they chorused. We learned about it in Negro History Week. Good. And do you know why it's important to know your history? A little girl raised her hand. Because if we don't know where we came from, we don't know who we are. Carter's eyes filled with tears. Exactly right, young lady. And I want you to remember something. You are part of history. Everything you do, every choice you make, every way you treat others, that's history being made. Someday someone will write about your generation. Make sure they have good things to write. The children nodded solemnly. After they left, their teacher thanked Carter. Dr. Woodson, Meeting you was the highlight of their year. No, Carter said quietly. Meeting them was the highlight of mine, because they know their history. They're proud of who they are. That's what I've been fighting for. In early 1950, Carter knew the end was near. His doctor had given him weeks, maybe days. He couldn't walk without assistance. Breathing was difficult. Pain was constant. But he refused to go to a hospital. "I want to die here," he told his staff. In this office, surrounded by my work, they set up a cot in his office so he wouldn't have to climb stairs. They took turns staying with him so he was never alone. On April 3rd, 1950, Carter was working on an article. Even bedridden, he was writing. His assistant found him slumped over his desk, pen still in hand. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black history, had died at his desk, doing what he'd done for 50 years, documenting Black history. Carter G. Woodson's death made headlines across Black America. The Pittsburgh Courier ran a full-page tribute. The Chicago Defender called him the man who saved Black history. Negro newspapers across the country published special editions. His funeral at Howard University's chapel was packed. Over 2,000 people attended. Educators, scholars, community leaders, and ordinary people whose lives he touched. But the most moving tributes came from unexpected places. A white historian who'd once criticized Carter's work wrote, "I was wrong about Dr. Woodson. He wasn't biased or unscholarly. He was simply ahead of his time, seeing truths the rest of us were too blind to acknowledge." A former student, now a teacher herself, spoke at the funeral. "Dr. Woodson never taught me in a classroom, but his work taught me who I am. He gave me my history. He gave me my pride. And now I give that same gift to my students every day." An elderly woman, one of the last surviving people Carter had interviewed during his Southern journey in 1913, sent a letter read at the service. "Dr. Woodson kept his promise. He told my story. He made sure I wasn't forgotten. Now God has called him home, but his work remains." The tributes were beautiful, but Carter's staff faced a practical crisis. The association's finances were precarious. Carter had been its driving force, its primary fundraiser. Without him, would donations dry up? For the first few months after his death, they worried constantly. But then something unexpected happened. Donations increased. People who'd never given before sent money. "I didn't appreciate Dr. Woodson while he was alive," one letter said. "Let me support his work now." Negro History Week. 1951, the first without Carter, was the largest ever. Over 5,000 schools participated. Communities across America held memorial events, celebrating Carter's life while continuing his work. James Washington, the young scholar Carter had mentored, wrote in the Journal of Negro History, "Dr. Woodson's death is not an ending but a beginning. He built the foundation. Now we must build upon it. The best way to honor him is to continue the work he started." And they did. The association continued. The journal continued. Negro History Week grew larger every year, but there was a problem no one had anticipated. Without Carter's charismatic leadership and scholarly authority, Negro History Week began to drift. Different groups wanted to change it, adapt it, modernize it. Some wanted to make it less confrontational to appeal to white donors. Others wanted to make it more militant to reflect the growing civil rights movement. Carter had held it all together through sheer force of will. Now, with him gone, tensions emerged. A debate erupted. Should Negro History Week remain focused on education, as Carter intended, or should it become more overtly political? Carter's staff tried to stay true to his vision, but it wasn't easy. The world was changing rapidly. The Montgomery bus boycott happened in 1955. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum. Young activists wanted Negro History Week to be part of the struggle, not just educational. One young activist wrote to the association, "Dr. Woodson's work was important for its time, but we need more than history lessons now. We need action." The association's director responded thoughtfully. Dr. Woodson believed that knowledge of history leads to action. You cannot fight for freedom if you don't understand that your ancestors fought for the same thing. Negro History Week provides the knowledge. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. This balance, honoring Carter's educational focus while acknowledging the change in times, would define the association's work for the next decades. But through all the debates and changes, one thing remained constant. Every February, Americans learned about Black history, and that was Carter's legacy. "25 years after Carter's death in 1975, something remarkable happened. A group of Black students at Kent State University made a proposal to the university administration: expand Negro History Week to an entire month. The idea wasn't entirely new. Carter himself had dreamed of it, but knew America wasn't ready. "A week is all we can manage now," he told an assistant in 1948. "Maybe someday it'll be longer. Maybe someday it'll be permanent. But for now, a week is progress." Now in 1975, with the civil rights movement having transformed America, those students were pushing for more. And they won. In 1976, during the United States bicentennial celebration, President Gerald Ford officially recognized February as Black History Month, expanding Carter's Negro History Week to the full month he'd always envisioned. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History, as it had been renamed, celebrated Carter's vision, the one he'd started with $127 in a dream, had become a national institution recognized by the federal government. But some wondered, would Carter have been happy with how it evolved? Negro History Week had been rigorously educational, focused on scholarship and primary sources. Black History Month by 1976 was more diverse, scholarly but also commercial, political, cultural. Corporations started Black History Month promotions. Politicians gave speeches. It became part of mainstream American culture. Was this what Carter wanted? Or had his focused educational mission been diluted into something more palatable but less transformative? James Washington, now an elderly professor himself, reflected on this question in an article. Dr. Woodson would be both pleased and frustrated, pleased that Black history is finally being recognized nationally. Frustrated that much of that recognition is superficial. He always insisted on depth, on primary sources, on rigorous scholarship. Today's Black History Month often lacks that depth, but that's not a reason to reject it. It's a reason to keep working to make it better. The Journal of Negro History continued publishing, maintaining Carter's scholarly standards. Young Black historians continued researching, continuing his work of documenting Black history, and every February, millions of American students learned about Black history. Not perfectly, not always deeply, but they learned. And that mattered. Carter's books remained in print. The miseducation of the Negro became required reading in Black studies programs. His research methods were taught in graduate schools. His name was invoked by civil rights leaders, educators, and activists. But perhaps his most important legacy was the simplest. Black children grew up knowing they had a history, knowing they came from people who'd survived, resisted, achieved, contributed, knowing they were part of a long story of struggle and triumph. A teacher in 1980 wrote, "I never met Dr. Woodson. He died before I was born, but I teach Black history because of him. My students learn their heritage because of him. When a child comes to me ashamed of being Black and leaves proud of their identity, that's Dr. Woodson's legacy."
In 2026, 100 years after Carter G. Woodson created Negro History Week, Black History Month is an established American institution. But Carter himself is increasingly forgotten by the general public. Most people celebrating Black History Month don't know who created it. This would not have bothered Carter. He never sought personal fame. He sought something more important: the preservation and celebration of Black history itself. Today, thousands of Black historians work in universities across America, something unimaginable in Carter's time. Black history is taught in schools year-round, not just in February. Museums dedicated to African American history exist in major cities. The National Museum of African American History and Culture stands on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. All of this traces back to one man's decision in 1915 to create the Journal of Negro History, to one man's choice to spend his life documenting what others wanted erased, to one man's stubborn refusal to accept that Black people had no history worth preserving. Carter G. Woodson never lived to see Black history fully integrated into American education. He died still fighting for basic recognition, but he planted seeds that grew into forests. His life teaches something profound. Transformative work rarely produces immediate results. Carter worked for 35 years before seeing significant acceptance of Black history. He spent decades in poverty, facing rejection, working in obscurity. Most people would have given up, but Carter understood something essential. He wasn't working for immediate gratification. He was working for future generations. He was building a foundation others would build upon. Every Black child who learns their history, who feels pride in their heritage, who understands that their ancestors were not just slaves, but also warriors, scholars, artists, leaders. They are Carter's legacy. Every Black historian conducting research, every teacher planning Black History Month lessons, every community celebration of African American heritage, they are continuing Carter's work. The journal he founded still publishes today, more than a century later. The association he created continues its work. Negro History Week became Black History Month, which sparked Black Studies programs, which trained generations of scholars, which produced thousands of books and articles, which changed how America understands itself. One man, one vision, one relentless, uncompromising commitment to truth. Carter G. Woodson died poor, exhausted, and largely unrecognized by mainstream America, but he died knowing he changed the world. Not through violence or political power, but through the quiet, persistent work of documentation, education, and preservation. His epitaph could have been the words he wrote in 1945. If a race has no history, if it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. Carter G. Woodson ensured that would never happen to Black Americans. He gave a people their history, and in doing so, he changed America forever. the coal miner's son who taught himself to read by candlelight, who earned a Harvard PhD against impossible odds, who traveled through dangerous territory collecting stories, who created a journal when no one else would publish him, who invented Negro History Week when no one thought it would work. That man's work endures. And as long as Black children learn their history, as long as teachers celebrate Black achievements, as long as communities honor their heritage, Carter G. Woodson's flame will never go out. He is not remembered as he should be. His name is not as famous as it deserves to be. But his work, his glorious, transformative work, lives on. And that is the greatest legacy any person can leave. Not fame, but impact. Not recognition, but change. Not monuments, but movements. Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black history, the man who refused to let a people be forgotten. His work is done. But because of him, ours continues.